Hey, what's going on, fellow money lovers? We are here going through some more pocket change to see if we find anything worth more than face value, or is at least collectible. So we're going to be looking for stuff in the serial numbers, issues with print on the bill, stray inking, issues with the serial number, or patterns in the serial number, things of that nature. So let's start right off. I've got a lot of questions emailed to me, sent to me through the website, VarietyErrors.com, to my email, which is info@VarietyErrors.com, or you can send it to Kyle@VarietyErrors.com. And by the way, with VarietyErrors.com, we are now one of the up there in the top 25 most frequented coin and currency websites on the interwebs. So we are crossing over 114 countries with tons of people in them. Thank you so much for being a part of the website, talking on the forum, leaving comments, but let's get right to it. Now, we got a little wet ink transfer here. You can see that backwards one from the back of the bill, but that's in fact from a bill that sat atop this one. Nothing in the serial numbers as far as patterns are concerned. Don't see any shifts in print, no issues with ink, nothing like that. It's a 2017 series bill. Pretty clean overall. Now, you'll see some stray ink marks and stuff like that just from when they were wet after production. This right here is just a press through or wet ink transfer from a bill that sat below this. So kind of the same dealio as the outsides of the word 1 that you can see here on the front of the bill. But nothing there. Good repetition of 6767, but the rest of the serial number leaves us much to be desired. I love the redesign after the early 2000s for the $10 bill, other than the funky eyebrow on Hamilton here. But aside from that, nothing really on this bill. It's also pretty beat up, so it'd be hard to determine if there's anything collectible there due to damage. On the back of the bill, nice depiction of the U.S. Treasury on the $10 United States Federal Reserve note. We have a little stray inking right here, but it's very tiny next to the constellation made up within these 10s here, known as Orion, but not enough for me to hold on to. Next bill, $5, Series 2013 $1 note, and I was going to use my little lightsaber pointer here, but I think it's just kind of overkill, so I'm just going to use my finger, whatever. A little bit of folds here. There's a little tear right down here you can barely see. I love these newer 5s, but they're talking about redesigns throughout the 2020s. Of course, all the news right now with the coronavirus and all that is definitely superseding any talks of currency over the last few weeks. We got a little bit of the serial number peeking through there as an overpress, over-inking there. But once again, not enough for me to hold on to. A little bit of excess ink or wet ink transfer. And I do get asked about these extra dots here. I mean, this is a good example of one, but unless it's really dramatic, say it goes over into this space over here, or it's really obscuring something or a portion of the graphic on the bill, I would not call it collectible. Got ourselves a date on the end, but not collectible in the beginning of this. Birthday notes are going to consist of a month, day, and then a full 4-digit year. I get a lot of people who send me messages that are like, wonky dates or stuff like that. I know I come across or hold on to double year notes, but I like to really keep the ones that span a set of years that's historically important, especially in U.S. history. It's 2013 series $1 note. No shifts in the seal. I like to look for that too. Shifts in the serial number. Ticker bills, that's where the ending digits are kind of up or down. Generally up. Nothing on the back there. Another series 2013 little wet ink transfers. You can see that's really common. It's only when it's really dramatic, I would say you found something to hold on to. Nothing in the serial number. Got a lot of smudgel across here. This looks like either dirt, blood, or a pen. We'll go with a pen. Let's see, some more pink ink here, probably a highlighter. Definitely detracts from the value of the bill if it were collectible. Nothing in the serial number, although a little bit of over ink on that 9 there, but that's very common on the 2013 series, so I won't harp on that. I talk about that a lot. Nothing really popping out here. This actual print here for 139 is actually sitting kind of crooked. I'm going to hold on to that. I know it's really minor, but I'm going to hold on to that just to kind of research it further. And speaking of a ticker bill, we actually have a minor one here with the 3 on the end. Now, this is well within the confines of acceptable. I mean, unless it's really sitting high or it's multiple digits, I wouldn't call it collectible, but just something to keep an eye out for. Other than that, pretty decent condition $1 note. And nothing on the back there. Another 2013 Series $1 Federal Reserve note. This one's torn at the bottom here. So, if you notice this little bit of blurring around the Treasurer of the United States' signature, that's just due to damage. It looks like this bill has gotten wet at some point, at least on a portion of it. And as you can see, the discoloration and the browning taking place by these folds indicates moisture on the bill at some point. So, same with this kind of ink issue here across this one. That's just from damage to the bill. Moving on. Series 2013, $5 note also. Now, you usually do get a little bit of dotting throughout the seal in the background. The dotting I'm referring to is you'll see little straight dots around here. That's a combination of the printing process as well as the threads, so to speak, that are found inside the material used for the paper that U.S. currency is printed on. So it's nothing to call home about. That's just a common thing across bills. And nothing on the back there. And then a nice double-digit odometer bill or ticker note. I like to call them odometer bills since it's kind of ticking up like your odometer on your vehicle. We also got a couple little extra stray ink marks here next to the signature of the Treasury of the United States. But aside from that, some damage down here, folds, so on and so forth. Little tiny tear. But it's a good example of an odometer bill, so I'm going to hold on to that. It's more collectible than valuable, so just keep that in mind. Now, if it was really askew, I would say awesome, an error note. Maybe worth a couple bucks over value, but aside from that, I would just hold on to it. I had a really good question asked to me yesterday as far as a great birthday note / replacement star note viewer came across. And I really like the pictures. I'll share them in another video once I get permission from them. And if you have any pictures you'd like to be shared in a video, definitely shoot them to me in an email. I'd be glad to make a viewer video. I love doing those. I love seeing stuff that you guys come across. So definitely keep me in the loop on your bill and coin searches. Really beat up $1 bill from 2013 series, so nothing really to talk about there. It's too damaged to really find anything on. So unless it was a really apparent error, I wouldn't be able to really talk about it. Now, we're only a 50 away from a great repeater note. Now, this is a good example. We got a funky 6 here. It's like it didn't lay down enough ink there, so that's kind of cool. As you can see, this is the proper 6, well, really the one next to it is the proper way it should be printed. You can see it's got almost a 45-degree angle on the top of that 6 there where it kind of dragged. Other than that, great condition bill. Double 5s, double 6s, double 4s, and then we're only 5 over double 0s and 50 away from double 5s again. And then I would have really wanted to keep this bill as a repeater note. So a repeater fancy serial number. But aside from that, nothing crazy, and that little bit of wonkiness with that 6 is not something that I'm going to hold on to. Now, if it was like a 5 partially printed with the 6, that would have been an error. Would have been a print error, would have been a serial number error, would have been worth some money. But this is a good example of a repeater note, so keep an eye out for those. And moving on. Good repetition in it, but nothing really pattern-wise or anything to hold on to. Another thing to keep in mind is this blurring between lettering from the black ink. That is so common. Just keep that in mind. It's not an error. That's just good old printing process. If you want to look for really prevalent errors, actual errors that you don't necessarily see in every bill search we do, then definitely go to VarietyErrors.com. Right at the top and in the middle of the homepage, you can click on the error coin price guide and error bill price guides, and they will run you through every error that we look for, every type of fancy serial number, print errors, ink errors, miscuts, all that good jive. So check that out on VarietyErrors.com. It's an SSL secured website. You don't have to worry about any safety issues or anything like that. A little bit of over ink on the third digit there, super common. Now, this is kind of interesting. We got a little bit of a mis-inking on the 5 there. It also is sitting high, which is kind of odd for it being a center digit there. So that's pretty cool. Now, there is what seems to be a fold right where that ink issue is happening. So I'm wondering if maybe just from that fold on the bill, that's what caused that ink issue. But I'm going to hold on to it to research it later, but I won't keep harping on that bill. Let's look at what we did come across, which I think one thing is a little bit more of a stellar find than the other. This one here has got a little bit of some shifting issues going on, so that's kind of something I'll hold on to. It's also got a little bit of things that I kind of pointed out earlier, so I won't keep going into it. But a good example of a kind of error bill or misprint error. And then, of course, our odometer bill with the double digits on the end. This is really what I want to hold on to. I love odometer bills. This one is not the most extreme. Probably, I don't know, 200 videos ago, we came across a great odometer bill that had the last digit, I believe, was a 4 or 7, and it sat like way high, at least 1.5 times higher than this. And I held on to that and got it into a protective bill sleeve. I implore you to do the same when you come across items in your bill searches that you want to hold on to. Get them protected. If you really think you came across an error variety that's worth holding on to, get it graded, send it in to whoever, PCGS, APMEX. There's lots of different companies that do grading. But great odometer bill, ticker bill. Let me know what you've come across in your bill searches and coin searches lately. Sorry for kind of talking monotone. I'm still recovering from mouth surgery. But we'll get there, man. And the wonderful thing about this hobby is you always end up with the same money you started with, even if you don't find an error. Thank you so much for coming to the video. You are the best viewers and audience ever. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and checking out VarietyErrors.com. And I will see you in the next video.